the KMNN studios, this is the Kids Morning News Network. Good morning, friends. It's October 2nd, 2024. There are 90 days left this year. Wow. Welcome to the Kids Morning News Network podcast. I'm Alex in the KMNN studio. Today is Random Acts of Poetry Day. So that means just go and poetry. Is that a verb? Here's my random act of poetry today. Today is the day to poem away. On your own time, gross or sublime. You can make it a rhyme or not.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Big news coming down from the ISS this week. The SpaceX ship that will bring home stranded astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore blasted off from Florida and docked with the ISS. Inside were 2 crew members and 2 empty seats for Williams and Wilmore. You might remember that the 2 astronauts were the very first crew to head into space on a Starliner back in June. They were supposed to stay on the ISS a week and then come home, but unfortunately, the Starliner had some mechanical difficulties and had to return to Earth without humans aboard. Since then, the 2 have been helping out on the ISS, and they'll keep doing just that until 2025. They'll come back aboard the new capsule, named Crew 9, in February. And P.S., those 2 empty seats, those weren't supposed to be that way. 2 other astronauts got bumped from this flight to make room for Williams and Wilmore. Being in space is challenging, but just getting there is tough too. We're learning about another example of animals that work together to get things done. In this case, octopuses. Now, you probably already know that octopuses are really smart. They can figure out puzzles, open jars, remember people. They're smart. Now we're learning that sometimes they hunt with helpers. Now, this is a surprise because octopuses are generally known as being solitary. They like to be on their own. But a new study found that octopuses do hunt in groups, just not groups of other octopuses. Octopuses, as it turns out, like to hunt with helpers in the form of little gangs of fish, anywhere from 2 to 10 fish at a time. The octopuses help direct the fish on their food-finding missions. But wait, there's more. They do this even with mixed groups of fish from different species. So it's like this ragtag crew kind of directed by the octopus. And if that wasn't enough, the octopuses have a really interesting way of keeping the fish in line. I should say here that I really like octopuses. I think they're amazing and so smart. One of my favorite animals. So I'm not really happy to have to report on this next part. But the octopuses are not always nice to the fish that are helping them. See, octopuses like to hunt and prowl around, and some of the fish are ambush predators, meaning they like to lie and wait. The octopuses don't like that. So they punch the fish that don't hunt the way they want them to. Yes, punch them. And you know, octopuses have 8 arms, so lots of punching.
Owie!
Oh, octopuses, this is not the way to get creatures to help you. Can't you just talk to the fish? Have you ever looked up at the stars in the night sky and wondered about those tiny little specks of light all across the sky? Well, Vincent van Gogh, a famous artist who lived in the late 1800s, painted a picture called Starry Night that captures the beauty and mystery of the night sky. It's one of the most famous paintings in history, but researchers have just discovered something scientifically amazing about it. It actually follows the laws of astronomical physics. In Van Gogh's painting, the stars are swirling and twisting, almost like they're alive. Van Gogh liked color, and so the swirls might seem like his artist's view of the stars, but it actually kinda sticks to what astronomers have learned. Stars aren't just tiny dots in the sky, they're huge balls of gas that are spinning very fast. When they spin, they create a force called centrifugal force. This force pushes the gas outward, making what's called turbulence in space around them. And that turbulence, if you could look up and see it, which you can't, and neither could Van Gogh, would follow patterns an awful lot like the swirls in the painting. Van Gogh also painted the stars in different colors. Now this might surprise you because we look up and we think of the stars as being white generally, but stars can be different colors depending on how hot they are. The hottest stars are blue, while the coolest stars are red. And even the brightness of each of the stars, the way he mixed his paint, matches what astronomers would expect to see from stars in the real sky, based on their movement and energy transfer. Now, no one is saying that Van Gogh figured out all these theories before scientists did, but by watching the natural world that he knew, he could make basically an educated guess at the forces that would act on stars, we think. Of course, Starry Night is a work of art, and there are many different ways to look at it, and different ideas on what Van Gogh meant by it. Maybe he wasn't thinking about science at all, but the scientific angle does add another perspective on this amazing painting. It's riddle time. Last week's riddle was, you find me in socks, you find me in mittens, you find me in the paws of playful kittens. What am I? The answer? Yarn. All right, this week's riddle is, this old one runs forever, but never moves at all. He has not lungs nor throat, but still a mighty roaring call. What is it? I'll say that again. This old one runs forever, but never moves at all. He has not lungs nor throat, but still a mighty roaring call. What is it? I'll give you the answer next week, but you've got to make sure to subscribe to the Kids Morning News Network podcast so you don't miss it. Do you know what a black hole is? It's a spot out in space where gravity pulls everything in and crushes it. The gravitational pull of a black hole is so strong that even light is pulled in. Even space-time might bend to the pull of a black hole. Well, here's another absolutely incredible thing about black holes. Not everything that gets caught in the black hole's gravity goes all the way in. Black holes actually have jets of stuff shooting the other way, out of them. That's everything that didn't quite get pulled into the middle. Well, astronomers say that now they've actually seen these black hole jets, two of them shooting out of two sides of a black hole. And these jets are big. I mean, big, like 23 million light years across. This is so big, it's hard to even put into words. A light year is the distance light travels in a year. And you know how fast light is. In miles, it's about 5.8 trillion. So these newly discovered black hole jets are 23 million of 5.8 trillion miles. So you multiply 23 million by 5.8 trillion, carry the one, well, it's a lot. Like 140 times the distance across the Milky Way a lot. Oh, and did I mention scientists have seen more than one of these jet pairs? None as big as that one, but they aren't exactly rare. There have been 10,000 spotted so far. So that's one less thing to worry about. If you start getting pulled into a black hole, you might just get jetted out the other way.
Yippee!
In yet more space news, this month all of us Earthlings can say hello to a visitor we haven't seen in a while. By visitor, I mean a comet, Comet C 2023-A3, and by a while, I mean 80,000 years. Last time this comet passed by Earth, early humans were migrating out of Africa and into southern Asia. They didn't leave any notes behind, so Comet C 2023-A3 was officially discovered when astronomers spotted it headed our way last year. Comets are balls of ice and rocks and dust. They're kind of falling apart, so they leave trails behind them, especially when they get near stars and warm up, which melts their ice. This one already passed by Earth, whipped around the sun, and now it's on its way back past us. And because it warmed up passing the sun, it's leaving a nice, long, messy trail. You might be able to see it without a telescope on the evening of October 12th if you look to the west. That's when it'll pass closest to Earth. After that, its orbit may actually cause it to be ejected from the solar system. So I guess we'll see you when we see you, Comet C 2023-A3, or not. Well, that's the show for this Wednesday. Thank you very much for listening. Please follow or subscribe to the Kids Morning News Network podcast on your podcast player, your podcast app, your smart device, or whatever it is that you're using to listen to this episode. I will be back next Wednesday, and I hope that you are too. From the KMNN Newsroom, this is Alex signing off.